You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at International City Theater for their presentation of Cardboard Piano.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Jojo Nwoko. I moved here from New York. I went to school in New York. Loved being a part of this. This is my first time performing at ICT in Long Beach, and it was just a dream come true. And I've loved every moment of it.
And which character did you play?
I played Pika/Paul. It's easy to categorize him and want to call him a villain, but if you understand that everyone has a past and that will definitely affect their choices in the future. Like, he is a tortured soul. He's a child soldier. His family completely, everything was taken away from him. And he had no choice but to become a killer, and at the age of 10. So you don't really get to grow up and to think that, your own reality is something that is so far from what you'd expect to be given as a child. So he had to grow up fast, and he uses religion in order to cope with practically his PTSD. And then you fast forward a couple of years, he's now a pastor trying to make better what's been wrong. And it's been an amazing character for me to work on and to portray.
I love your character. You were so intense. You actually just bared your soul on it. You basically bared the soul of a criminal, of a warrior, you were a child at a point in time, but then you also a man kind of reformed, trying to almost like you're an Alcoholics Anonymous, trying to reform yourself.
Yeah, literally. That's why religion is his way to erase his past. He's like, if I come back and I preach the good word, God will forgive me. I am no longer a bad person if I come and do good. But you can't really. Life doesn't really work like that, though. Your demons will come knocking on your door. You think you can get rid of it, but that never goes away. And that's what we see in this show, that he thinks he's gotten rid of all the things in his past, and then knock, 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 the past catches up with him.
Well, I love the piece. First of all, right in the middle, I thought it would be anticlimactic because, again, it was a very intense centerpiece. But then after that, things kind of evolved. It kind of healed over, but then again, it got exposed to like a raw nerve being exposed. It was just beautifully written and beautifully acted.
Thank you so much. I mean so much. Thank you.
Yeah, once again, I love the piece. I just loved your acting. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, Allison Blaze. I'm a native to Los Angeles. Right now, I'm from New Orleans. I went to college there. I'm an actor, and currently I'm in a show called Cardboard Piano, playing at International City Theater in Long Beach. Closes May 20th, Thursday through Sunday. Come see it.
And which character do you play?
I play Chris. Chris is a go-getter. She is passionate. She is a fighter. She is. First of all, she's a missionary pastor's daughter, and she's 16 at the start of the show, and she is just psyched to just. I don't know. She just wants life, and she doesn't settle, and I love that about her. And she's just, she's a wonderful human.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, they should expect to see a little drama, a little comedy, and I guess the tale of the human spirit. And it's an eye-opening play that I feel like poses a lot of questions at the end, which is always good. So
I love this piece. It was fantastic. Basically, first of all, it's such a meaty topic. It's actually a topic. One thing you didn't mention was that Chris was actually a lesbian also, but she was also at the same time a Christian, the daughter of a missionary.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if she can reconcile the two in her mind, because again, there are a lot of of gay Christians out there.
Yeah.
There were actually gay popes are out there.
Yes, it's interesting. I went to Catholic school for 14 years when I lived in the South, and I also know people that are still with their faith, and they are out and they're proud, and I don't know. The show poses an interesting question about religion. Like, when is it?
It's all about
What is it good for, and what is it not good for? That's a really interesting thing about it. It solves so many things, but it also may cause more problems. I don't know. So yeah.
I also think there's a difference between the faith and the culture. Because
Yes.
this was actually in Uganda,
Yes.
and they're actually in a war during a civil war.
Ugandan Civil War, yes, and it starts at the millennium, 1999, the millennium of the new year, and the new year of the millennium, it's just about. I guess this isn't Catholic; it's just Christian, maybe like Presbyterian. I don't know, but anyways, but yeah, it's just ideas of what faith does to a group of people, or what faith does to a culture, and what influence that has, and the separation of. I don't know, something about the separation of religion and the separation of what you think is right. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I love the piece. I thought it was fantastic. Plus, I love your acting in it too. You basically, this was such a meaty topic. Some people would consider it political, but I liked everyone in the cast. I liked the characters. I felt inspired by some of them. I also felt, sobered by some, but also I felt that the world was actually a better place too at the end of this.
Yeah. It's about just being just as I am. There's a little bit of music in the show, and one of the songs, the opening is "Just As I Am," and it's taking someone for who they are. And I feel like all the characters in this play are learning to do that and to love themselves for things that. Whatever they believe is right, just taking themselves as they are, and it's just I feel like everyone has that maturity or that comfortability that just being honest about yourself and who you are and loving yourself anyway. So.
Once again, I really love the performance. I love doing it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with.
I'm Deshawn Barnes. I am a recent graduate of UCLA, class of 2016, and I'm from LA, born and raised.
And which character you play tonight?
I play both Adiel in the first act and Ruth in the second act. Adiel, I think she's a very focused, driven character who gets a lot of her escape and fun from her very close friend Chris. And Ruth, she's a fun, warm, vibrant woman who really just wants to love everyone.
I loved every single character. I loved there. First of all, not only because they weren't stereotypes, but they were very intense. Because even though you played the pastor's wife, she was almost like the leader of the family. She was so strong, so independent. Yeah, and also the other characters, the villain, the pastor. Even though he was again, he was so broken. Even though again he was supposed to be a shepherd, he was supposed to be a leader. But again, he was also very human. Yes, very human. He was driven by all his trauma in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that it's just really important to bring humanity to anybody that you play because people are such complex individuals. Everybody's complex. And so I think that when you approach it from that standpoint, from that, I'm going to figure out, yes, this person may be seen as the villain or this person may be, a pastor's wife or whatever. You don't really want to approach it from, a stereotypical point of view, but you want to approach it from, an honest place and figure out how how do they get to be whoever it is that they become. You know, you want them to be as honest and rooted as possible in humanity.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect for a roller coaster of emotions. They should expect to ask a lot of questions about themselves, about both religion and culture and tolerance, as well as forgiveness and hatred and love.
Yeah. Again, I loved it. It was intense. Like it dealt with bigotry. It dealt with fundamentalism. It dealt with forgiveness too.
Yes, a lot of
and
forgiveness.
Reformation, and also the Civil War in Uganda and all that. But believe it or not, at the end, I felt very good about the world. I felt like cathartic ending. I felt like there's hope out there. And I just love this piece.
I think that it's important to always end with hope. You always want to hope that tomorrow can be better than today was, that today is a little bit better than yesterday was. And I think that this piece raises questions to help us kind of figure out how to get to a better tomorrow, so yeah.
Even though there were no solutions, because no solutions at the end. So some people are going to think, why the heck do you say you're optimistic when the ending was such a mess? You know what I mean? So basically, but you know what I mean. It was just the thoughts came out so clearly, but they were so truthful, and there was healing in it. There was healing in it. Yeah.
I think it's a very there are multiple complicated issues that go. There's so many facets to the subject matter of the play, and I think that it's difficult to come to like a very clear answer of how to move forward. But I think that this play raises those questions, so those conversations, those important conversations, can be had.
Once again, I just love this piece. I loved you in it. I thought you were very powerful, very dominant, very, very natural, and very, very individual, very unique. I've never seen characters like yours before. I mean, I've seen pastor's wife. I've never seen a black pastor's, a Ugandan black pastor's wife. So very unique, very, very, very. I just loved your characters.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here.
I am Demetrius Hodges, and I am from Kansas City originally, and been here living in LA for about 2 years now.
So, which character did you play tonight?
In the first act, I played the soldier, and then in the second act, I transformed into Francis. And so, but they're totally two different characters, and so, I mean, they don't, coincide with each other. They're just totally two different characters. The soldier, my take on it, he's very menacing, and of course he's trying to catch Pika because he's ran away, and so of course the soldier, it's very scary, very intimidating. And then the second act changes to Francis, very vulnerable, just trying to find that sense of hope. And in the village, and he's very tired. He has no hope, no faith left.
I love this piece. I thought it was fantastic because every single actor, because even though again you might say you were playing bit parts, but they were so necessary. They were so raw. They were so believable. They had so much to the story.
Right. No, every character in the show is very important, and I keep telling people that each person in the show has the character that they have for a reason. Like the cast, Karen doing the casting and Michael Donovan doing the casting, it was perfect. And everyone does these characters justice, and it's even though I kind of pop in and I pop out, it's still watching them and throughout the whole rehearsal process, watching how they, just transform and embody each character. It's been a great experience all around.
If my viewers decide to come by to see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Expect to see a story about deep unconditional love, true love, a story where I hope that people come and they begin to open their minds and just kind of see how in the LGBT community how it's a fight right now. And I mean it's an ongoing fight, but I feel like we are, especially here in America, we are in a better place than we have been before. But I just hope that people realize that all around, and in other countries, it's not so well, taken so well. There are people being killed, and just because they're trying to be truly who they are. And so I just hope you come and you have a heartfelt experience, and I hope it opens your mind, and I hope you just realize the struggle it is.
Well, I love this piece, but basically, in my opinion, you will either love this piece or you'll hate the piece.
Exactly.
Yeah, every character, you will either love your characters or you will hate that character. I mean, it's almost like it doesn't. It's the same play, but it's kind of a reflection of yourself. It's like a Rorschach test.
I know. I definitely feel like coming in as a soldier in the first act and trying to kill Pika. People hate me, but then it's kind of interesting. I come out on stage as Francis, and I turn into this whole different character, and then people are like, they feel so sorry for me, and the hearts pour out to me, and I really appreciate that. It's been a ride, and I love it.
Well, again, I loved your acting in it. Again, even though you were a bit actor, you're fantastic.
Thank you.
I love the writing, and I just love this piece. Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Cardboard Piano will be playing at the International City Theater from May 2nd to the 20th. For more information, go to www.ictlongbeach.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Little Fish Theater for their presentation of Norm Foster's Mending Fences.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Madeline Drake, the director of Mending Fences at Little Fish Theater.
What did you like most about this piece?
Well, I think actually what I've seen is that while not every single aspect of it is specific to our own families, that there are so many things that are, just that we don't communicate, we don't talk, we don't tell each other what we feel, and that's what I love about the piece.
I agree. Actually, my father comes from the old country. See, he's not from the United States and all that. I've been told our culture is very, we don't talk to each other. Fathers don't talk to sons. We make sure they work hard. We make sure that they're good citizens. And make sure they're well fed. But we really don't say we love each other. You know what I mean?
No. That is one of the things that in the play that they say is they use the term, if you noticed, cat's ass. And finally he's saying, what do you mean? You can't say I love you? Wow, anybody can say I love you. That's not really true. It's hard to say I love you. And so it's a wonderful thing when you see something, and I've had, only that we had a preview last night and tonight, I've already had like probably 10 people tell me, wow, do you know what? In my family, we could never say I love you. And that is important.
Yeah, I realized that too. In fact, my sister, I actually asked my sister about that because, we're from the same family. I thought, my family's just weird and all that. But she told me that her husband, he spoke to her husband's mother. She said that, back in the old days, they just didn't talk to their children. So parents just did not talk a whole lot to their children. And then I was thinking, maybe it's just a lot of people. Maybe it's the world. Maybe I'm not from a dysfunctional family. We're just in a dysfunctional world or something.
I don't know about that, because I have to tell you something, that my mother came from a place where no one said I love you, and she said she loved us every single day. And my father grew up in an orphanage down a Holy Roller orphanage in Georgia, and mistreated. And he did have a hard time saying that. And he finally was able to say it to my sister and I, but never to my two brothers. So I don't know. Maybe he thought it was weird for a man to say it to a boy. I don't know. But I think it's something that takes a lot of insight, and to say I love you is something so important. I don't know. Fortunately, I say it to my daughter every day, so.
I say it to my sons every day, too. I loved your choice in casting. What do you look for in your cast?
Well, I got to tell you something. What I looked for, first of all, was their ability to act, number one, but also their ability to project this sort of emotion. But on a secondary level, I wanted the part of the son and the father, I wanted them to look like they were truly physically related. That was important to me. And then what mattered was that, especially with the female Shirley character she played, and she was brilliant, was that she could play all three of those roles. The emotion, the projection of emotion. And then there's some technical issues, like just, can you learn all those lines? 91 pages? Because there are some actors that can't. And so all of them I thought were wonderful. I just really, and I had a hard time finding somebody to play Harry. I had to go out, I had to audition like 7 times, open it up 7 times.
Well, I love the piece. I was actually moved by the piece. Because again, my family's like that. We're just not emotional. You just don't talk to the fathers don't talk to the sons. And I'm trying to overcome that by maybe overcompensating as telling my kids I love them. So again, I just love the piece. I love the way it was written. I love the way the actors performed it, and I also love your direction.
Thank you so much. They were a complete pleasure to direct. They had emotion, they had opinions, and they all three are extremely talented.
Once again, I love the piece. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Michael Jacari. I got into acting because my daughter came home from kindergarten one day saying, I'm going to be a nanny. And my wife thought, I've got an idea. You should be in children's musical theater with your daughter, which was a little surprising. But then I found that I just loved the process and the people and everything about it. And several years later, I'm still doing it. She's off doing ballet, and it just kind of stuck with me.
And which character did you play tonight?
I play Harry Sullivan, and I play Harry Sullivan younger, and I play Harry's father. Harry is... I feel like I know Harry. I feel like I grew up in this kind of home, in a way. I lived 60 miles south of Canada, and the people are very pragmatic. It's very, love is an act of provision, for example. My father was always that way. And so I feel like Harry is exactly that type of person. He provides, he does these things, but as far as expressing emotion or how does he feel, that's just not something in his lexicon. It's just not a part of what he does.
Yeah, I really like this piece because, like you're saying, it touched so many parts about the male ego, the male life, the male mystique, you might say. It was basically about the way men treated each other in history back in the old days when people men would never describe their emotions. A man would never tell another man he loved him.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and it's not even that they would actively not do it. It's the question doesn't even occur to you, right? Historically, men are just like, well, I'm doing one thing, I provide, and how do you feel about that? What do you mean? What kind of question is that? That makes no sense at all, right? So Harry's definitely from that mold of, what are you even talking about? But it's, he goes through a transformation. Really, I think, if not for Shirley, who plays his girlfriend, that never would have happened. She is that change agent that if it had just been Harry and his son, nothing would have been different. They would have left disgruntled and angry, but she's the one who pushes them and challenges them and really just makes that transformation take place.
Yeah. Also like the way Harry changed. He became more of a modern man, where basically he actually talks about feelings. Sure. He actually tries to, express himself and all that. And that's kind of the way man is evolving, because men are becoming more sensitive over time.
Absolutely. Yeah. It really is kind of it really is apropos of the time, isn't it? Yeah, I would agree with that completely.
Yeah. Well, I love the guy you guys played because, again, you played your father, you played yourself, you played as he was a young man and all that. The reason I like that is because they were all like the same person. I mean, it was the father, even though he didn't raise his son, but his son became just like him. I mean...
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's a really good point, right? It really, we all, I think, as parents, we all kind of, under a stressful situation, we revert to exactly what we've been shown. So we become our parents. How many times have you said something and you hear your dad's voice, right? And I think that it really is like that with Harry. And I think, though, that Harry, because of how angry his father was and how really ill-equipped to deal with kind of emotion, I feel like Harry made a conscious choice, like, I'm never going to be that angry person. I'm going to, but that's the only accessible emotion. It's anger or, humor. And so he kind of becomes a little bit almost two-dimensional to some extent. But then, everything starts to kind of go around him and the stress comes in. And again, he reverts to what he saw from his father. So, but that transition, it's one of my favorite things about this play.
Also, the characters themselves, I thought they were very likable. Again, some people describe them as dysfunctional, as kind of like, broken and all that, or damaged. But they were just human beings, normal. I thought they were like, my neighbor would be like that or something like that. So you guys actually played these characters with their idiosyncratic personalities very well. I mean, they were all human. The audience made a good connection with them.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think we had a good connection with each other, too. I think that a lot of that comes from Norm Foster's writing. Like, this could have been a very angst-driven narrative and just really depressing. But he put so much humor in not only the conversation, but the situations. And it would be very easy to just take a very dark approach and say, oh, it's awful and horrible. But these people found humor in it, but still pushed each other to be better people.
Well, I loved the piece. I thought it was fantastic. I loved your acting in it.
Oh, thank you.
You remind me a bit about myself.
Excellent. That's high praise right there.
Yeah. So again, my high recommendation to the audience, my audience, to come see this thing, because again, if you're a father, if you're a son, if you have problems expressing your emotions, or you don't have problems expressing your emotions, or you just want to see a very, very entertaining play about people with their foot in their mouth, they'd all love this piece.
I agree. It's a very accessible piece, and if you find things to resonate with you, that's a very satisfying thing for being in the audience and the actors. But yeah, it's a great piece. Thank you.
Once again, I love the piece. I love you, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Shirley Hatton. Been an actress for a long time. I was raised as a military brat and traveled all over the world. And, I've been a company member here for about 5 years, and I've done 5 or 6 shows with Little Fish Theater, but I've been performing for over 30 years. Not giving away my age. I started acting when I was... No.
Okay, and which character did you play?
I play 3 different characters in the play. I play the character of Jin, and she is a cattle rancher. And I play Lori, who is Harry's ex-wife. And then I play Harry's mother. I think I identified the most with Jin just because she's very strong, and I can be very strong. She's got a little bit of a temper, which I also have, though my family would tell you I have a big temper. Lori, I didn't identify with quite as much, but I found her storyline as I was doing the play. And then, Harry's mom, she's very sad because she's an alcoholic. And so that, I don't even drink, so they laugh at me because I play those parts all the time, and I don't know why.
I love this piece. First of all, I kind of think it was like a man's story, just because I'm a man. I kind of saw so much about it.
No, I absolutely think the main story is about a father and a son. And then, sort of the secondary stories are the relationships between men and women. But no, I agree. The main story is the father and the son. And what I really enjoy about this piece is that there's as much left unsaid as there is said. And so that's fun. He writes very natural dialogue. It feels like I'm at home saying some of these things. So that was wonderful to do that.
But I also do like the interplay between the women and the men, because in a sense it's like if you're this woman and you're with this somewhat damaged man, he just can't express his emotions. He's very rough around the edges. Nice guy, because even though they were damaged, they were both nice guys. But what do you do? I mean, what do you do with a guy like that?
Well, as an actor, you have to kind of create your character, because the playwright doesn't give you tons of information. I know she's a cattle rancher, she has a tragedy with her husband. But so in my head, to sort of justify it, I decided that Jen was an only girl, but she had a lot of brothers. She was raised on a cattle ranch, so she's used to that. She's used to how guys interact. Anybody who's been raised around guys knows that, sort of the male, trying to prove themselves to each other and sort of their lack. Listen, I have several teenage nephews and they don't talk. You know, you ask them a question and they're like, huh. So I get it.
Okay. Well, I really love this piece. And I thought you were fantastic. Played 3 different characters. They were extreme in very many ways. Some of them were very supportive. Others were somewhat self-destructive. So again, I love the range. I love the characters you played.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate that.
Okay. Once again, love the piece. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Mending Fences by Norm Foster will be playing at Little Fish Theater from April 27th to May 27th. For more information, go to www.littlefishtheater.org.